turns me. What in the world? I'm sideways. What? That's an issue. Whoa.
We are live, you know.
Yeah, but I'm sideways. No, I'm not. Welcome to the first No Sugar, No Cream podcast. I'm Seth, and soon we will have our other host, Tim. We're just this is the first podcast, so we're just checking it out, trying it out, making sure all the kinks are kinking and everything's going on. We're on YouTube and Twitch too, right? Or just on YouTube?
Just a second. We're on
All
YouTube
right.
And what's the other one? We're on we're on two YouTubes. On my personal Tim Wolf YouTube.
Oh, we're double dipping, baby. We're double dipping on YouTube. Here we go. First podcast coming at you. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to this, you're on the ground floor, or you're somebody that it's a year down the road, and we've now come. Hey, look, it's Tim. Tim, welcome. It's a year down the road, and we've gotten really popular, and we have thousands of viewers. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. Man, your camera looks so much better than mine. Yeah, you look great.
Woo!
I am like so much. Yeah, our height is just like, it's just horrible. Yeah, that looks a little better.
All right, we're getting the bugs out.
There we go. Tim, there you are. There you
are. No
sugar,
no cream podcast.
And red shirts. We did not do that on purpose. Now
we're gonna have to do that for every podcast going forward.
We're gonna have to fire our stylist. Is what we're gonna have to do. We don't pay her enough, anyways.
So maybe we should introduce ourselves a little bit. And how do we even know each other?
We go way back, way back. way back.
Yeah.
My name's Seth. I'm from Arkansas. I grew up in Arkansas, I guess. I just moved back to the Nashville area, so we've been talking about doing a podcast for a while here. So now that I'm here, we can finally do it.
Absolutely.
And I was just trying to get my place ready to go. I got a duplex back in Northwest Arkansas. I was trying to get that rented out and had some renters trash the place and had to remodel one side of it completely, which was quite the ordeal, but turned out really nice. Got some good renters in there and good renters in both sides now. So so you can see what one of the subjects I quickly gravitate toward.
Yeah, real estate. We can talk about
real estate and entrepreneurship,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
But anyways, Tim, who are you? What are your thoughts on life, liberty, and
my name is Tim. My artist name is Tim Wolf. I'm a singer-songwriter.
Excellent.
And my byline is romantic rebel.
Yeah.
Producing alternative songs for those who need a second chance.
Excellent.
And so Tim Wolf is my artist name, and Seth is my nephew.
What? So much for my plan to tell everybody that we met at In-N-Out Burger.
And Seth recently moved here to Nashville from Arkansas, and I'm so glad to have him in my house.
Yeah, and we both enjoyed doing podcasts, and the other people on our podcast didn't like it as much as they enjoyed it, but I don't think they enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah, well, maybe we should mention our previous podcast.
I won't even mention his name.
Oh,
no, it's great. The loser Tyler. No, great guy. He flaked on me. We're doing a podcast called Unscripted Banter. It was going super well. It was hard for us to keep it going because I moved away from Ohio. We started it when I was living up in Ohio, and I'm gonna start talking Northern if I keep on saying Ohio. And but we're doing it pretty well over just doing it do it over the internet, but stopped.
He got busy.
Lost interest, lost life. Dude's
He
like
got busy.
lost a bunch of weight. He got pretty busy. He looks a little skinny, buddy. I need you to eat a burger. It was making me nervous. I need you to eat a burger. Looking a little skinny. I'm pretty sure I could knock you over with one finger. It makes me nervous when people get too skinny. You know, you can lose some weight. I can see how some people got nervous when Post Malone lost so much weight. He almost looked too skinny.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like, is that a diet or crack cocaine? Yeah. Oh, that's the thing nowadays. Yep. Now the fat people are getting pretty upset about all that. Like, there's no. I heard some statistic. I don't know how true this is, but supposedly statistically, the most number of people have been downsizing their sizes because so many people are on diets and Ozempic and these different drugs that are helping people lose weight. So I don't really know too much about it, but I guess it's curbing the appetite and helping burn some calories.
It has a lot of side effects.
Really?
Supposedly a lot of negative side effects.
I don't know about any side effects, but
yeah, well, interestingly enough,
I'm still trying to read
that like we have T-shirts, we have small, medium, large, extra large, and then numbers of XLs, and
guess where I am.
But if you go to Australia, you were in Australia for about a month last year, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
Australian sizes are, I think an American L is like an XL in Australia, and so on.
Their sizes are bigger? Are they bigger there or smaller?
They're smaller.
Oh, yeah.
Based on my understanding.
In China, they're like 3 sizes smaller.
Probably because, we have an obesity problem in this country.
We got a little bit of a weight problem here in America.
And you know why? I believe the main reason is I blame the FDA, because when you go to Europe and you eat all their food, including the desserts, you don't put on a pound. And if you eat that way in the U.S., you put on 20 pounds. I'll go there for a month. Usually, I love to go to Europe.
All the crap they put in, probably a lot of the preservatives kind of stuff to keep it last longer.
All kinds of chemicals that our FDA allows, and it's not allowed in most other developed countries. Not allowed, prohibited, especially Europe. The food is so much cleaner there. My buddy Jimi and I went to Ukraine. And we ate so much. We just stuffed ourselves. And every night we'd go out, and Jimi would say, we went out one night, and he says, "That's the best meal I've ever had." Then we went out the next night, he said, "That's the best meal I've ever had." And I said, "Are you going to keep saying that each night?" Anyway, we had a lot of meat because there's a lot of meat in the Ukraine. This was before they got invaded with Russia. And I got back, and I was afraid. I had a photo shoot like a week after I came back, and I'm like, man, I can't do this photo shoot. I'm going to look like a bloated pig. I stepped on the scale. I think I put on 1 pound. we were 3 weeks over there. The food and everything was so good. Well, because I honestly believe, no joking, that's our problem. We allow so much of bad ingredients and so much processed food that doesn't have to be processed.
There's a number of our foods that aren't even allowed there for some reason. I don't know why. Ritz crackers.
Absolutely.
What is it about Ritz crackers? I love Ritz crackers. They're not allowed in some European countries. It's like they're completely. There's something in there that's not allowed. But yeah, there's something they've been trying to. One of the dyes that's called something dye or something. I don't know. They've been trying to take out, but yeah, that would be a big thing. I think that's something that Kennedy brought up quite a bit. Was trying to
RFK.
Yeah, RFK Jr. was big on trying to get her health, and I think it's just funny. It's something people don't run on something talking about health, but it's important. There's a big obesity problem, and it's killing us all.
Well, yeah, and it's also
a lot earlier.
It has to do with the lifespan. It has to do with all kinds of things, and our mortality rate, our average life expectancy actually has gone down in the last few years. Now, primarily it's because of deaths from drug addiction and overdoses from fentanyl.
Oh my goodness!
There's been an epidemic of that. But statistically, so when somebody who's 20 years old overdoses from fentanyl, and their life expectancy would have been 78 or whatever it is, that drastically affects. The younger you are when you die, the more that affects the average longevity of the country. So we have a lot of young folks that are, and probably younger, but who are dying from overdoses. And so our longevity lifespan stat actually has gone down the last few years when most other countries are still increasing. So
yeah, I'm definitely not big on all these, these drugs, but these poor kids that think they're getting something for a simple high, that you get just a little speck of fentanyl.
Yeah.
You're paying a lot with your life.
Yeah,
it's crazy though. There's people that literally want to take fentanyl. Or I guess some people just have face as much, but
the cops or the law enforcement that go and works in the drug enforcement, they're concerned because you do a drug bust and you get some dust that goes up, kill you.
Yeah, that's happened. I've seen some videos. Yes. Yeah, it's crazy.
The world is scary. A lot of things are scary. So
fentanyl. Where did fentanyl come from? Do you know much about the?
Well,
I just don't know.
I did see an article, or maybe it was something on Netflix. They were talking about the drug cartels realized that it was so much cheap, rather than, because heroin, it comes from a plant. You have to grow a plant, based on my understanding. Is
cocoa leaf. Or not heroin, cocaine. I was thinking about cocaine. You're talking about heroin is also
from a plant. The plant has a pretty flower. Anyway, and they found that by using fentanyl, it cost a fraction, their cost of production went to almost nothing. And so that's when they switched over to fentanyl, because it was a cost of, they're a business. They try to run it as a business, in drug cartels. And when their cost of production drop, if you can find a way to make your cost of production go lower by multiples, and you have no morals anyway. If you're making drugs and bringing them to the U.S., you're not really governed by ethics or morals. So, switch over to fentanyl and, let the people die. They don't care.
But wouldn't that hurt your business? Like, hey, I don't want to take your drug anymore. You just killed Bill last week.
You would think, but
too many all those people just killed by getting high. You're addicted. Yeah.
So, anyhow, so my podcast, I was on a podcast with my best friend, Jimmy Davis. And that one was called Jimi.
Good old Jimi.
Jimi D and the Wolf.
Yeah, buddy.
And it became.
I'm busy too. Both of our podcast buddies got busy.
And I didn't think it was ever going to be revised, but because the domain, we have JimiDandTheWolf.com. And we also have No Sugar, No Cream.
No Sugar, No Cream. I think we said the bonus, but our podcast, we came up with No Sugar, No Cream. And we're looking around. Looks like somebody maybe had in the past, but they haven't posted in 2 years. So I think we're pretty safe with that name. But we both like coffee, and but we're using in some funny ways. But I am okay with sugar and cream. I'm not a Splenda person though. It's not sugar, but yeah. But I'm going to be the no sugar, no cream. Just that's Coke Zero right there. Which is sort of funny. Here we are at the No Sugar, No Cream first podcast, and we have no coffee. You can see there are a lot of Cokes in this podcast right now. But
so we're going to try to do this every Tuesday. Go live, 5:00 Central Time, is our plan. So this is a Sunday. This is a dry run. This is our first go at it, and we're trying to get the technology. Because I hadn't used, I used to do it with Jimi. We used to do our podcast where we were both sitting across this same table, and we had 2 different cameras, and we haven't done that. And then we did it remote after the pandemic. So, man, it's been probably 4 years since, I don't know, the longest it's been since we've done it. And I was trying to log in for this one, and I've switched streaming softwares, and the new software that I was using, StreamYard, doesn't allow you to have two split screen. So I had to go back to Restream, which is the one we're using now. But in order to have all the capabilities, you need to pay a subscription. So we're still figuring that all out.
Quite the idea. It's not easy, kids. There's a majority of podcasts like Club Post for 7.
7 podcasts?
Yeah. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to do 7 podcasts, quit this podcast, and just start a one. So, we're really a statistically long band. I'm just kidding. No, this is the big deal. We're going to 5,000 listeners. We call them coffee heads. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a name for it. Yeah, we're going hard in the paint here. We're gonna. This is something both of us, I think, wanted, no offense intended, at least certainly to my partner. I mean, in fact, we had the domain and we were looking at, I asked Jimi, I said, should I just let that go because it was coming up for expiration? And he said, no, we're going to get back to this when things level out in his life. I mean, he's got 3 teenage kids.
Yeah, I saw him do
he's so busy. We got businesses together. He's so busy. As things level out in the future, we will get back to it. So I kept the domain. And your cousin got busy.
Yeah, I'm not even doing a podcast on us. How many total podcasts did you do?
Question. All of them are. I mean, we still have
a thumbs up.
We got a thumbs up.
Yes.
Who gave a thumbs up?
I don't know. I didn't say, but
thank you for your thumbs up, sir, ma'am. We appreciate it.
It just said thumbs up to the middle.
Nice. Woo! Our first thumbs up.
Yeah, so it's going to be a podcast. Tim says I can do anything for as long as I use a coaster.
Yeah, this was my answer.
I remember. It used to be a light brown.
It used to, yeah.
You had a red roof and it looks fantastic.
So, I had a guy, I mean, this is walnut. This is like 1 inch thick, solid walnut top here. And I've had this table for many years at an antique shop when I was living in Boston in the 80s.
We had to go do some antique shopping.
Absolutely.
I love some antiques. I just bought an antique fan. Old school phones are basically you can just stick your fingers in and chop off your fingers. Those are old school phones. Like they have the wires are spread way big. In fact, you probably shouldn't have kids. Well, you're trying to get rid of your kids if you have those fans. But I got kind of a smaller one, but it works. Everything looks like in a decent shape. But I remember my grandma having one, and she let me try to get some neighborhoods because we were little kids, and I was just sitting there on my own. We didn't pass her to show up at one time, like, oh, don't stick your feet in there. Don't stick your feet in there. Stupid kids. Yeah. My grandma loved me, I think.
So what are we going to talk about in this podcast?
We're talking about comedy, which I just saw some comedy last night. I went to one of the comics, a local, which is cool because the comics there at Zanies. Zanies is a local comic place. Shout out to Zanies here. They get a lot of big comics. And they also just 2 months ago, I guess, they opened up what's called the Lab, and it's going to be a lot of up-and-coming people. And I had a free ticket to go last night, so I just saw Uber down there after we had dinner, and had a great time. Got to meet the comic. She's in a wheelchair. She's not like pale, but it's one of those diseases where it just kind of makes your muscles losing strength in your muscles and stuff. She's just been in a wheelchair for a couple of years, but she's making the best of it and doing comedy, and she was killing it. She even did a little bit of crowd work, which I love crowd work, and everybody loves crowd work now because that's what we run across on TikTok. That's kind of a thing for comics to do now. Is if you don't want to show your material because you want people to come to your show, and I all this, so you put out crowd work, and crowd work can be the most funny, spontaneous stuff imaginable. And some of the funniest interactions can be between you and the crowd. But then you get all these people coming to the shows and yelling at the comics because they think, we're playing some crowd work. I'm like, let's not know. You gotta be smooth with it, and hopefully they'll a lot of the listeners will just start talking to different people in the crowd. And I was right there in the center, so I ended up talking to a couple of the comics even on stage there.
I bet you they pick you out.
So especially here, I had Harlan Williams, who's my brother. We were in Hollywood and went to two of the big comic places there, the comic book store, and the Comedy Store and Laugh Factory. Went to both ones, and we saw a handful of the comics.
Because we were there together.
That was in New York.
Oh, where were
which
you?
that's this is in Hollywood. This was Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
And where was I going with it? Who did I see? I saw but we saw a number of people. Somebody was even out to this even further, and I was like, and he was like touching my hair, and it was so funny. It's hilarious because a few months later, Dennis thought he saw Harvey Williams in the airport, and we're like, where is he? It would be cool to interact with him because. My boyfriend was sometimes people remember. I mean, this is probably thousands of people, but man, he's been killing it. He was on Kill Tony. I want to say to wrap up with the whole Zanies thing. That girl that's local here and did the comedy. She's a wheelchair. I forget what her name was. But she was just on Kill Tony like a month ago. And Zana's owners recommended her to Tony, and so she wanted to get her own pulled from the bucket. If anybody doesn't know what Kill Tony is,
I know what Kill Tony
is. So he has a show every Monday, sells out every Monday.
Where?
It's online, but locally it's live and it's no, it's in Austin, where everybody's gone now. They got so many comedy clubs there now. Not just Joe Rogan's comedy club, which I guess he's going to probably open another one too. But he has a big rooms. People can put them in the bucket and they get 60 seconds. And it's just random. And they will probably put 10 names of us in a night. So there's 200 plus names in there, and very thin margin, 2% chance you're going to get your name pulled. Or less than 2%. Yeah, less than 2%. Like 0.5% chance that you're going to get your name pulled. Or no, a little bit higher than that. What am I thinking? 5%. If it was 1 or 2 or out of, but it's closer to 10. So anyways, but she got to be as a guest, and she just flew in.
Did so well in 60 seconds that they called her for.
She recommended by Zanies. Zanies new attorney, and was like, hey, put her on, and it was just a little guest appearance. There's usually 4 or 5 regulars, and then they'll do a guest, and then they just put her on. So there was a lot of pressure. But she did well. I think I watched the whole thing, but I remember I recognized her. But she did good, and it was fun to see her last night. And but the one thing last night was a guy that was a writer on SNL, and he did pretty good. But I'm still bad with names. I probably need a pad of paper if I'm gonna talk about things. I need to have names.
We also need so we can see any comments that are. I'm sorry that we can't. If you're commenting like the thumbs up, we couldn't see who that was. We will get better. We will be able to monitor that.
Someday maybe we can have a call-in number, have a line to call in.
We're very motivated. We're very, we're all in on this. Both of us are going to do our best to make this. We're going to merch. Cream merch. We're going to have.
Yeah, we're professionals in all things of non-interest. My name is special.
So how did you get interested in comedy?
Well, man, how far does it go back?
Yeah, start it back at the beginning.
At the beginning, I mean, back when I grew up in a Christian home. My dad was a pastor and stuff, so there was a Christian comic out. But I enjoyed it. It was okay, but I never remember being like, oh, comedy is amazing. I was writing music back then, and it's just kind of shifted over time. Where I'm more into.
I remember going and seeing some. We used to go to Christian music festivals. And I remember there was a Christian rapper you really liked.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. I think it was in Pennsylvania.
I can't even remember his name offhand.
Remember we went to
that? That was awesome.
And we saw a lot of big names. Jars of Clay closed, I remember.
Yeah, there was a number of stages.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago we went to Bonnaroo. That was amazing. We got to go back to Bonnaroo. I'm kind of bummed that you sold your
RV
because that like the thing. What you got is just rent one for one.
No, I didn't sell. Actually, I gave it to
a
industry. But I tried to sell it.
Bless you, brother. You're like, bless you, and here's your tax write-off. Tax write-off? Sorry, it's a business thing, guys.
No sugar, no cream. That's what it's about. We tell the truth.
Getting called out.
We don't sugarcoat it. There's no cream. It's all. That's my interpretation of no sugar, no cream. Yeah. So anyhow, so how did you get started with, liking comedy? You used to really kind of blew up.
I think I got more into it going on cruises because there's always comics on Carnival Cruises.
That's what I was going to say.
That's probably where it came out. I would predict that's where it started. I can't really just think of a moment that it was amazing. I can tell you right now, we were there in New York last summer, but definitely the most impactful experience and just made me even love comedy.
This one you're going to talk about, I wasn't there. I went home early and I missed it.
We went to New York for the weekend. The family did, and
I was there. It was more than a weekend. We were there for like 5 days, 6 days.
Yeah, and
we saw Back to the Future, Broadway.
Well, yeah, that was fun.
Amazing.
That was so cool. All the technology they use and things, like watching. I feel like you're watching like a movie with all. You feel like it's probably CGI.
I came back and I was bragging about it because I loved it. I haven't been to a Broadway show in a long time, and I know it's not deep culture. It's pop culture. And so pure, thespians that are really into that. We'll get back to that. Put a pin in that subject. But, to me, Back to the Future is so iconic. Michael Fox and it's just iconic show. And then, they made 3 of them. And to see it on stage, and it was so well put together. And I remember walking out there and saying, man, that might be one of the best Broadway shows I've ever seen. And so then I go to First Watch a lot to eat, and one of the servers, our young servers, is a young lady who's very serious about her thespian career, and she's doing a lot of Shakespeare in the Park and stuff like that.
The
and some of them were in the park. Shakespeare in the Park, whatnot. She would tell me. I didn't go see her. I guess I wasn't supportive, and I told her about how excited I was about this show, and she just dissed it so bad. She said, those of us who are in the know, it's not very well made. And I'm like, come on!
Which is funny because that's big money for those big productions like that. They would jump at the opportunity.
And so I Googled. So I said, man, do I have no ear? Do I have no eye? Whatever you would do. Music. You say ear. Can you hear good music? I guess what would be the equivalent for a show? An eye. I guess you use your eye and your ear. And I Googled it, and it did have great ratings. I don't know if they're still running. Great ratings. So she was a bit of a snob, I guess, about it. And I understand if you're doing Shakespeare, going to that is kind of a pop culture thing. It's not. So anyway, back to New York and the comedy.
Yeah. So we just hit up different shows. I think we went for like 3 nights.
I went one night with you guys.
Was it just one night?
I only went one night. Yeah.
Okay, I think we went 3 nights, and then the last night we went.
And I
it was just my brother and I, and a friend of my parents that Dan and I went on the trip. This that night, which he was very bummed out about, because we show up the show and they just start the normal show, and first guy comes out.
Sunday night, right?
Sunday night, and he was fine. He goes back off, and the host goes back up, and he says, "You never know who's going to show up, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Chappelle." Well, first thing I'm like, "Boo! No way! He was not here."
How big of a little place? How capacity? How many people?
Less than 200. Less than 200 spot. But that is the main spot
out where all the bigger comics go. I realized later because the cellar. So if you're going to the comedy cellar, if you want to go to a good spot in New York, go to the comedy cellar, and I think there are a couple different stages there. 2 or 3 different stages that the comedy cellar has. So he did an hour and 15 minutes. It was his birthday week, and he just went on, and it was hilarious. This is one different guy that kept on asking him questions. The guy was like, just let him ask, because Dave Chappelle is like next to drinking the guy on stage, so like all his thoughts were like perfect, but the guy asking the questions got him his nerves going. So he did an hour and 15 minutes, which is like 5 sets. He did 5 sets. Like he knocked out 5 people for note. And basically after he was done, that wrapped up the show. But that was fun. He was, or they might have had one more person after him. I can't remember. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I have to get on. I have to follow Dave Chappelle.
I mean, the second time we were just after that or something. And like, oh, he has a change of pace. There's no Dave Chappelle, so there's some magic tricks. But yeah, it was his birthday week. They just done a big show. I guess even in the 50s. I think he's probably 50, yeah.
Over the hill, just done. Yeah. I mean, might as well just call him.
Oh my gosh! I mean, he's on top of the world. He just opened a new comedy place in his little town. Yeah.
Well, he bought like an entire town in Ohio or something.
Yeah, basically, yeah. This is a little town I fell in love with, where the people are just.
Well, where he's from, isn't he?
Yep. He wasn't originally from there, but he's lived there a long time now, and he just fell in love with the people.
I read an article about it. Not everybody loves the fact that he's there.
I think he's
because he kind of runs. I mean, he's in charge in a way.
Anytime there's somebody popular, there's always going to be people that are jealous and want to come. Yeah, or just. But he's he's helped the city too. And give people jobs and stuff too. During the COVID, they're doing outside. He's doing an outside thing, and I was going to go that, and I never was able to get around to go into it. But now he took a fire truck. Not a fire truck, but a fire building.
Fire station?
Fire station. Sorry, thank you. Fire station turned it into a comedy club. And that opened a month or 2 ago. So that just opened. So I'd love to get there sometime. That would be pretty cool. But
when did you start? Okay, so you started. Let's talk about how you got started with loving comedy.
I think it just gradually came over time, and then
going on cruises. So your family loves to cruise. You go on cruises.
Well, I guess I remember too. When I was wrapping up graduate, I remember friends even telling me, I was saying like, "You should be a comedian," because this, like, especially some people being out of me, like this, where people are watching, it's easy to banter with you, so the goofiness comes out of everybody, and I do have a big interest myself in trying to do comedy. I don't feel like I'm a very good joke writer. I need to work on that a little bit more, because I'm more like off the cuff, kind of like, if you ever watch Conan O'Brien, like he's not more stand-up. Really, he's more of like, just like nonchalantly in conversation, being funny and goofy and making you laugh. That's more like what I am. So I feel like I could do crowd work, though. I feel like to an extent I can do crowd work. But I just need to try to get some jokes together and just go for it and just try it. But I do. I guess I've had an interest since high school.
Really?
Just for myself, I'd wanted to. And then I love the idea of opening my own comedy store, comedy club.
I think it's one thing to be funny, to be known as funny amongst your friends. It's a whole other level to get up on a stage.
I know. That's what makes me so nervous and try to get it.
And make strangers laugh.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like, okay, make us laugh. Entertain us now.
I found his face with this curly hair. I probably should cut the hair off.
Yeah, the whole demeanor, it's like music. You know, I'm in music. I'm a songwriter, an artist. And people look at you first and evaluate whether they even hear a note. I mean, if you get on stage, they're already making a judgment. I mean, it's we all do it. It's natural. And same with a comedian. You get on stage before you even open your mouth. I mean, there are comedians that can make you start laughing before they even open their mouth. just with their facial expressions or their body language or whatever. So visual is extremely important, I feel.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I have the same question for you as far as, comedy is really a focal point of my life, and I would like to give it a swing at it someday. And doing a podcast, I feel like, in fact, all comics have podcasts. That kind of something that swings into it and can stretch your muscle and comedy muscle. But when did you first get into music, do you feel?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was in grade school. And
where did your first guitar come from?
Well, my dad played guitar when he was younger.
Really?
Yeah. Your grandpa
I guess I forgot that. You probably told me that.
He had a guitar that was in the attic, and at first I was going to play that, but that was, his guitar. It didn't have a truss rod, poorly made, and it was so warped, so the strings were so far off. Very common for an older guitar, cheaper older guitar. And so the first time we went to it was a local church, folk style, finger style. And my dad said, can my son learn on this? And I remember the three of us were there, mom and dad, me, and then the pastor, so four of us. And he said, no, that's unplayable. So they had to get me a student guitar. And I remember a student guitar. And so I learned using the Mel Bay book. And I would go every week. And my sister also went for piano lessons. So music was important. We had a piano in the living room, an upright piano that your mom used to play. And she used to go to lessons. And so that was what we did. And then I started playing in church in the teen choir. And then I got interested in electric. And I bought my first electric guitar. I went to the local music store and bought my first electric guitar when I was a sophomore in high school. And but I didn't know what I was doing. I started trying to play some. I had a little wah-wah pedal, and he had I'd buy stuff online, and not online, but catalogs. You could order stuff. And so I started playing in the jazz band at school, and I played with some other musicians from school, and then went to college and really didn't play. I gave it up. I really gave up guitar during college because I was focused on my studies. And then I graduated from college and was in a church, and they had a band doing CCM, contemporary Christian music, original stuff that they're writing. And I don't know why, Dennis, who's the leader of the band, he was a drummer, he said, we need you to play guitar. And like, how do you even know I play guitar?
I was going to ask.
I hadn't played guitar in years. And we went together to the music store and bought a guitar. In fact, I still have it. I'll bring it and show it. But yeah, my first real guitar. Well, I had an electric, but I sold it when I went to college. But this is a Gibson Les Paul.
When first time
so I started playing that band, and then one of my and I was there for 2 years in upstate New York, and then one of my colleagues it was DuPont. She told me her brother was like a professional instructor, and so I got transferred back to Delaware. She was from Delaware, and she gave me the contact information for her brother, and I started taking lessons from him. And then I got really serious, and every my 20s there was a period where every spare moment I was playing guitar. And so much to the point that I even, because that Les Paul's a heavy guitar, and I was playing so much, like an hour or two every evening and all day Saturday and Sunday afternoon, and then I got a crick in my back, and we had medical staff at the plant I was working at, the DuPont plant, and I went to the medical staff, and I said I have this really bad backache, and they said, are you doing any repetitive motion? I said, yeah, I play guitar like 20 hours a week, so maybe do less.
Goodness. Wow.
So that's when I really focused in and started playing, a lot of, I was focused on guitar. And then I played in church, and I started playing I went to Japan, lived in Japan, played in a blues band. And After Midnight was the name of the band. Got into blues, and that's really, but songwriting, really didn't get serious about songwriting until.
Did you try that band?
Oh no! Well, no, we just played locally. We played blues covers, a few originals. I think there was at least one original that I'd written. I'm trying to remember. We didn't really start playing originals. Well, we did in the CCM band that I played in. But I didn't write any of them. But there were original songs there, and the one that when I first started playing guitar. And then I also got in another CCM band for a short while until I moved to Boston. And then I was working 9 hours a week, and I had to give up the guitar for a short while then. Anyway, so that's a disjointed summary of some of my music. And I really got serious in 2015 and started working on my writing and
full time at that point, right?
Yeah. And moved to Nashville in 17. Yeah.
Goodness, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah, it would be 7 years this December or October is when I literally got here. Got this house in December, but I lived in a rented a townhouse from a real estate agent for 2 months. She said, you can live here with no lease as long as you buy.
Yeah, that was perfect. Right. That was the worked out best for and then you can take your time looking.
Yeah. So
take your time to find the right spot.
Your brother.
I came here. I was here when they were putting this floor in.
You did. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was here when it was kind of.
Yeah, because this music room, it's got 13-foot high ceilings and it's 28 feet long. I bought the house because of this room, and because it's where I was going to have my studio. And I looked at like 300 houses, not all in person, online and whatnot. And my main criteria was I wanted a bonus room. They call them bonus rooms in Tennessee, which is a term I'd never heard of until I came to Nashville. Bonus room, which is a room, kind of recreational room above the garage, is a common houses built in Nashville. And I'd never heard the term bonus room. You
could literally turn this into a studio apartment if you wanted to. Like, this is that big.
Yeah, it's big.
It's that big.
And I would ask the realtor, and I said, I want high ceilings. And she would send me these listings, and I said, how high is the ceiling in that room? She says, I don't know. Because they don't list, the side ceiling height.
Right.
And this one is by far the highest ceiling of any of them that I saw. And so, it was a new construction anyway. So, and it's a nice house. I like it. It's got a catwalk, over the kitchen.
I love the catwalk. We were talking from the kitchen to the catwalk on a regular basis. It just easily happens. But I love that kind of that openness.
Yeah. This was supposed. Most people use it as a fan room, so it had a carpet. And the first day after closing, in fact, I think it was the day of closing, they were ripping the carpet out. And I don't know why I was here. Why were you here? And I was in South Dakota, I think.
Yeah, we pack up everything.
I think
like $10,000 personally to hit.
Right.
She was like, let's save $10,000. And
I rented the biggest truck they had and filled it full, and what I couldn't fit in it, I gave to Goodwill or whatever. The biggest U-Haul truck, and then I towed my car behind. And you were here when they came in and ripped out a brand new carpet and put hardwood floors in. Because if you're gonna have a studio, you gotta have a hardwood floor. I've never seen a studio that has carpet, because the sound, a carpet absorbs not uniformly across frequencies. It absorbs some, but not uniformly across the frequencies, and it'll mess up your acoustics in your room. So
it's better to have that kind of like a padding on the wall, though, right?
Not a rug. Not a rug.
A rug is a bad thing to use.
Yeah.
Like different.
Like this is 4 inches thick. You can't have sound absorption and only have it thin. It's got to be thick.
Okay, so some sound is bouncing back up, and some is being absorbed by
it. Exactly. That's the best.
Okay.
And there's three ways of
it.
Yeah, you want.
My bad. Oh, who's my dad?
You?
Yeah. Just mess that up for a second.
I'm gonna switch it back over. Okay, keep talking. I gotta switch this back.
Hey, everybody, we're still here.
I'm blocking your camera. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody.
So this is my room, and it'll be 7 years.
We'll have to turn off our cellular in the future. That would happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
My dad wasn't any called me. I'm a good little boy.
so maybe we should.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 45 minutes.
Probably a good line.
Yeah.
Any closing?
Any thoughts? Well, I mean, it's a big first podcast because we talked about our biggest two years of music minus comedy. I do have music and I do give input some mostly questionable input. I have a decent ear. And I would love to sing on a song sometime. That would be a blast. I mean, but yeah. I gotta give kind of a try. But guys, thanks for listening to the podcast.
Tuesday, rolling again. And then we might might do two a week, but that's in the we gotta stick to
posted just a podcast by Wednesday or Thursday. Friday at the latest.
You're more knowledgeable about that. I mean,
we're still not more
so we're gonna use Anchor, I guess. Yeah, but it'll be on all the podcast platforms, right? Apple and Spotify.
You put an Anchor.
No, I think we have yet to do that.
Okay. But hey, we're live. First podcast. Success. Nothing blew up. Nothing is thrown.
I'm going to let you wrap that up and go over it again. But we got to get that out. Get the technical.
It's me starting Beautiful red shirt. Well, we need to oh, goodness. Chaos. Guys, thanks for watching the podcast. Appreciate you listening, and tune in next time. Thanks for watching.